Speak of the devil. The person from Chicago, speak of the devil.
Let me get my hello. Sorry, I was outside. My landscaper's here, and we're
Hi,
doing.
Nancy.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Yeah.
I'll stay on as
Good,
long as I can.
You,
I look
you,
like crap.
you
Outside
look,
work.
you look so laid back. Wow.
I pooped. I pooped. Anyway, happy to be with all you artists. Sorry I
Yeah.
haven't been painting a lot, but I'll get back
That's
to it.
okay. Okay. Well, I had to start with myself because I'm the only one that had room at the very top to put the heading. These are my two things that got into jazzercise.
Nice.
You've seen
Beautiful.
the first one, and the second one, yeah, I'm thinking I might have gotten that rose when I went to that Balboa Island art walk, and the whole art walk was lined with all the people that live there. Their gardens were state of the art, so I had my choice of all kinds of flowers, and my theme was just flowers in spring. So
Cool.
then we go to
They're luminous, Joan.
Yeah, they really are.
Really, they're lovely.
oh, thank you.
Compositions are great.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Oops.
They look like paintings,
Yeah.
actually.
And then we got yeah, thanks.
Oh, those ones, Joy. Yeah.
We've seen
Those are
Joy.
I love those, Joy.
Wow. Thanks.
Those are fabulous. I tried to do that, Joy. You should see what I created. It's so horrible. It gave me great respect.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The colors are pretty easy to use.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of control there, even if there doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Is
So much movement.
Wet on wet?
Well, you're really good when you can make your work look really easy, like anybody could have done it.
Yeah.
I think somebody asked, was that wet on wet? Did get an answer?
The background.
The wet on wet in the background.
Yeah, just white.
No, is that
Just wet.
technique wet on wet?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
And then you let it dry, and then you put the black lines in.
That's right. Yes.
With Chinese ink, not India ink.
Chinese.
Okay, good. Well, congratulations so far. Let me see
Oh.
if my thing is good. And we have, you folks haven't seen these, they're Laurie's.
Oh my.
Those are pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah, the color.
They were.
My eye keeps going back and forth from top to bottom. They're
Yeah.
such a beautiful pair together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And huge,
Yeah,
24 by 36. Wow.
Yeah, I planned them that way as you know, as a pair. I did the one on the bottom first, and then did the top one. I was inspired by some whale stories.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a flatfish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that what it might be? A fish?
maybe. It's whatever you want it to be.
That's
There
it.
you
You
go.
know, they could be an angry sky with bluebirds, or they could be under the water with sea
Yeah.
turtles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With options. It's gorgeous.
Those are beautiful.
Thank you. I really had fun painting them.
What red is that? Is that pink?
It's
rose
the
pink?
magenta. These were the pink and the yellow were high flow,
Okay.
golden high flow, and then the greenish is well, it was open. I didn't realize I was working from a sample and it was open. And then I was like, oh my God, it's not drying. So I had to wait 24 hours to work on it. And plus I was running low on it. So I ordered some high flow in the same color and then used some of the regular, what blue is that? I think it's a phthalo blue in there, blending in. And
Is
then,
high flow liquid acrylic?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, it's the golden brand name, the high
Thank
flow.
you.
Sorry about that. And then the rest is is collaged in. And the collage materials on the top, a lot of it was a mix of tissue paper, but also things cut out from my palette. And then some
Oh.
specialty papers.
Mhm.
And the bottom was specialty papers and tissue paper. And I think
You know,
there's a-
even though it's small, I really couldn't tell that you had that much
I mean,
collage, even though you say mixed media, because to me, the impression just looks like it's just a beautiful watercolor and or acrylic. It
Oh,
just, you just
interesting.
got it flowing together so beautifully.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
They were fun. I wanted to do, I didn't have anything that large. And when Joan said, you should submit, I'm like, I don't have anything that large. So I just painted over a couple of weeks, and I wanted something that was light and fun,
Yeah.
because I figured, office work can be challenging at times. So
Mhm.
that was where I came from on this one. Thank you.
Mhm.
I have
Thanks
a
for the-
technical question. Are you folks able to see the top of the screen where it says Laurie Batter screen off at the top? So
Lori, are
Yeah.
these on canvas or are they on?
Yes, they're unwrapped canvas. And my theme was, you had to have a theme. So my theme was Into the Blue.
Mhm.
mhm.
I had two others that they didn't take, but that's okay.
Because you're not as good as Richard.
Probably,
hey.
probably.
I'm only teasing. When we get to the end of the slideshow, you'll see what I'm talking about. So
I love that little guy up in the upper left hand. He looks like an alien.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
If you see them in person, they're really 3D, because it was thick paint that I cut out of my palettes and shaped
Wow.
them.
Mhm.
That's
It-
how
it
that's how
was-
you get those beautiful unintentional colors. You did a great job of picking how to cut them out too.
Thank you. It was really
Faye's going
fun.
to try and arrange a tour a little later on once
Oh,
this is
good.
up for the group. So we've done it last year. Last time we didn't, but just about every exhibit she arranges is for us to go and have a look at it.
Wonderful.
In fact, I think the last 2 years she tried, didn't she? And I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, they
was
didn't
always
they didn't allow
COVID.
anybody in the building for the COVID
Yeah.
period. So.
Okay.
You
Speak of the devil, here's two by Faya. She,
beautiful.
yeah, I'm pleased that some of the restaurant group sent some stuff, meaning Faya and Richard. That was,
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are classic Faya. Even though I haven't seen her work in 4 years, I mean it's
I know
it's evolving though too. I mean I know a lot of times she puts figures
Mhm.
in her work, and
Ye-
these are total abstracts, and the color harmony is beautiful on them.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I've seen Noteworthy last year. I believe that's an older one, but this one on the left, The Dark Secret. Yeah, I happen to love all these overlays, when you
Yeah.
put layers and layers and you see the depth, luminosity and all that. Yeah, I like this one a heck of a lot. So,
Mm.
Really large.
mhm.
Yeah, I like that too. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It
very.
looks like a lot of glazing.
Mhm.
Mhm,
She
mhm,
loves glazing. She loves glazing.
Mhm.
yeah. So thanks for sending.
Thanks for letting us know about it. I would never have known. So thank you.
You're very welcome. That's a part of belonging to Agnc. You get lots
Yes.
of information and perks.
And having Joy as our webmaster. Sorry, Joan.
As your webmaster. I do the best I can. Thanks,
Great.
Barry.
Great job.
Yeah.
It's the entrance fee to AGNC that are so prohibitive.
That's right. Yeah.
I think we ought to raise it, huh?
Yes.
Oh.
So here comes
0 to 1.
the regular stuff. We've got
Love
two.
this.
Wow, Chris.
Chris, this
Wow.
is so great.
Oh, that's pretty.
I love your work so much better than Jenny Nelson. I'm sorry. I know I told you that in email or text. but
Flattered, Nancy.
I looked at her website and I thought, yeah, I think Chris does better. But I mean, I can see her influence on you, and I can
Mhm.
see how you picked up some things. But this is great. This
It
work
is
is great.
really great.
Well, what I picked up was how to apply paint in a loose way, like you do, Nancy.
Mhm.
Your paint application to me is fabulous.
Thank you.
And, you know, she does a lot of basic things in the class, but one thing I never had, because I'm not an artist, or I wasn't an art major, or never had any really lessons in a paint application. That was one thing I learned. But I have to say, her class would be better in oils, because you really need to have a wet palette to be able to get the paint application down. And I used a retarder, but it still didn't work as well.
Sure.
But I learned
Well, I
a
can
lot.
see a lot of layer work in here, so you've accomplished that to the viewer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did layer quite a bit.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
I
you
love,
used a different paper, right, than she requested.
Yes.
She couldn't get it.
I used this one, I just used gessoed paper. She had recommended something that I can't get. So I don't
Right.
know, Lori, when you take her class, let me know if it's any
I
different.
will. I
than-
ordered it. The Blick box arrived. I'm not going to take it till, she said I could delay till like between Christmas and New Year's when
Oh, that's better.
there's no other
because
classes. Yeah, I
That's
just,
better because your paint won't be drying as fast as now.
well,
in the
I'm
summer.
also thinking what you're telling me, and I won't hold us up on this, but I have a bunch of oils. I just don't prefer to paint it because it's so messy. But
Yeah.
maybe I would just try the oils for the class.
Yeah,
Or Lori, do what you did on your other paintings, which is you said the high flow
Yeah.
golden wasn't drying enough
Oh,
for
the
you quickly.
open.
So,
I could do the open.
Oh,
Did you
open,
use
yeah, that's
open,
right.
Chris?
I
Maybe
used open, it still didn't work.
it still didn't
Wow.
work.
I mean, it worked to
Mm.
some extent, but then again, I don't have all the colors in open, so I used the open
White.
white to mix with
Mhm.
regular acrylics and a
Yeah.
retarder. And it still dried really fast because one
Oh,
of the things she does is she has you mix your palette, the entire palette, and it sits there, which
right.
I
Oh.
don't normally do. I normally mix certain colors at a time. I don't mix, various shades.
Yeah, I
So
don't either.
maybe that's why it dried so quickly.
If
This is
I
wonderful.
mix several at one time, of course, it's different in Chicago. It's not as humid
think
and
I'm
dry. Well, it's
frozen.
humid, but not dry. But I will take a photograph of my palette, or I won't throw it away, so I can kind of try to copy it the next day.
Mhm.
But I can never mix it perfectly. There's
Yeah.
always it's always off by a little, so I can see the
It's the
advantage of
same-
doing that in
Can
oils.
you hear me, you guys?
yes, yes.
Oh,
I'll shut
Nancy,
up. This is lovely too.
yeah. Nancy, I just love your attire today. You dropped 30 years. You look so cute. I'm going to start wearing my cap, and my baseball cap and
It
everything.
covers my half head grown gray hair. I'm going
So,
silver, and it's taking a year.
And we're kind of wandering. So Chris,
Sorry.
this is I like this one a whole bunch because it's not so, I guess it's looser. And this one here is,
can
yeah,
you hear me?
yeah, we can
Okay,
hear
I
you.
have
Chris. Okay.
unstable. I just have unstable
Is
internet
this,
now.
is this the same class?
Same
Yeah.
class.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
okay.
Similar
Yeah.
palette too.
Yeah. Mhm. Same
Yeah, it's the
palette,
same
yeah.
palette.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I think it's a good class. I
Mhm.
learned something. I thought it was really expensive though.
it. It is.
Mm.
That's why I've been waiting.
Unstable internet again.
I like this, Chris. It's tighter. I like it.
Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Oh,
Pretty, pretty, pretty.
Is this a new one,
Unstable.
Joy? What
This
is
is
the-
my this is my last one for the last year.
Oh,
The last year style, I just do
Beautiful,
this kind
Joy.
of landscape. Yeah.
wow.
That belongs in a museum.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that is beautiful.
It's so subtle
Thank
and
you.
so impactful.
Just try to do an abstract.
yeah.
Gorgeous.
Well, yeah, this shows a culmination of the techniques you've
like
acquired
that
with
one.
all your experiments. It just
Mhm.
shows you've mastered all these different wet on wet, dry, medium application of the paint while it's medium wet and so on. It's very nice.
Thanks. Thank you.
It looks like you're very comfortable with the medium. I think watercolor is your strength.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, everybody agrees.
Yep.
See?
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
But how does Joy spend her life? She spends 24/7 doing oil paintings at home, small oil paintings. And she doesn't realize her strength is watercolor.
And this is her warm up or what? It's gorgeous.
Yeah. I
That's
don't know.
funny.
Sometimes I don't want to do watercolor, and sometimes I really want to do oil. It
Yeah.
depends.
Well, that's probably your relaxation. You don't have as much pressure with doing the oils, maybe. So
Probably, yeah.
this one here is just funny for humor.
She's smoking a cigarette. Funny.
Trying to decide whether to do oil or watercolor.
That is so cute. I love
It
it.
is great.
Actually, this is for
Yeah.
Prince Mary's class, and we have a model.
Right.
They have a costume like a clown, a woman and one man, and France Marie require us to do in the clown when they do happy work for people, but they have a lot of stress.
Yeah.
So just think about this, and I just use this title like my assignment. So I did a watercolor.
Cute.
It's real fun, really fun.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You know, what shows, Joy, what shows your maturity in art? Look at the way this arm with the hands, just perfectly, just so
Perfect.
natural, and they're not stiff, and even though they're not totally anatomically correct, but they still just are so flowing. Well, that
Yeah.
shows your mastery of the technique, Joy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I just try.
Not everybody can draw a hand like this, that's for sure. Yeah.
You make it look easy.
Doesn't it?
Oh.
Definitely not.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes when I paint on the cheap paper, I feel much relaxed. This is cheap paper.
Yeah. A lot of artists say that.
Yes,
Yeah, when you don't have any expectations, you don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
that's
Sometimes
right.
your practice stuff is better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
this is what I mean about Lori.
Wow.
I when I saw this, I said, wow.
Yeah.
thank you.
And you know what? I think I know. I identified this with you said it was a rework from something you showed before, and we did a critique.
Yeah, it was
Could
black.
it have been this thing here?
That was the original one you saw.
Oh my gosh, that's why I had doubts about you in the beginning.
Uh-huh. Well, that's why it sat for a lot of months till I knew what to do with it.
And imagine she resurrected this thing and turned it into this. That's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Fantastic.
No
Thank you so much.
comparison. Yeah.
It didn't take a lot to resurrect it, actually, once I figured out what to do and wasn't afraid to try it.
Yeah.
I know you said it's acrylic, it isn't mixed media, but it does have a three-dimensional feel to it,
Definitely,
even if it
definitely.
isn't.
Oh, it does. It looks like a planet, or I can see rooms in there, and it's just got so much going on. I just really love it.
A
Thank
lot
you.
of depth. A lot of depth.
Yeah.
All the area around the major form that has color was scratched through. So there were like 4 different paintings under the painting, the previous painting. It was one of those paintings I kept
Yeah.
painting over the canvas and trying something totally different, reusing the canvas. So there was all kinds of layers of color coming through.
Yeah. Yeah. No resemblance to this one for sure.
No, thank
Yeah.
goodness.
On the background, Lori, how did you,
How did I do the background? You know, I took unbleached titanium.
yeah, how'd you do that?
I just squirted it on
Oh.
and used the paint scraper and just moved it
Oh,
around
okay.
and scraped through and put more on and scraped through and wanted to make sure I covered the writing too, but didn't mind a little of it peeking through in spots. I just didn't want to be able to really read it.
Mhm.
And then I let it dry and I wasn't sure if it was the right
Great.
color. And when I looked at it, I thought, oh yeah, it looks like ashes. And that was my goal.
Mhm.
I was thinking about Notre Dame Cathedral when I did this. but I didn't know how to make that look like, destroyed structure.
Mhm.
Well, you've got the fire element, you've got the French blue kind of in there, and the black, the dark. I remember it was a horrible day.
Thinking of the windows, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nice
wonderful.
work.
Thank you.
And this one,
Oh,
OMG.
goodness.
Oh,
Wow.
This is one Jazzercise didn't take.
You're kidding me.
Oh,
They're
really?
idiots.
But it's so different than the other two, maybe that just,
You know
Oh,
what I
they-
think? At the end of this slideshow, you're going to see what Jazzercise likes. It's just a raw color, raw, unadulterated color. And
Mhm.
more
Yeah,
than
they do
likely,
tend to do that.
What's that?
there wasn't enough reds and color in this, although it's a masterpiece. I
Thank you.
prefer it to the two they did take, actually.
Thank you.
oh.
This
It's more
one,
busy. I think it's more busy. That's what they, as you say, they like the space and the broad
Mhm.
color.
Yeah.
Well, they
That
hang
is-
so much of their stuff really high up,
Yeah.
and so it has to be noticed from far away and down on the floor sometimes. But
This
It's
is
really
big.
fascinating.
It's 4
take it as a
paintings in one.
compliment that they didn't take this.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's 4 paintings in one is what it is.
Yeah.
Did you scratch it off or how was
Yeah,
it?
each of these panels, the 3
I see
are
these.
separate.
You
and
mean
then,
these are the panels, these things here, the rectangles in it?
They're watercolor paper.
Okay.
So I painted and they were gessoed watercolor paper and scratched through.
Mhm.
And there was collage underneath, which is what gave you the
Blue?
blue and the pinkish color
Yeah.
and the lighter color. And then I put those aside and then I gessoed over in black this whole canvas, but I put tissue paper underneath to give the color. So it was collaged, and then I scratched all that through. And then when that dried, I mounted them.
Mhm.
It almost looks like a material, like a silk or a, that
Yes.
was my first impression, like, that it's just lovely.
Thank you.
That's
That
a good
was-
point.
Yeah.
I think the limited palette is what really attracts me.
Mhm.
I like limited palette stuff, and this blue that you use is magnificent. It just kicks it off.
That
That's
was
why you
the
like
paper.
me.
I was lucky. That was the collage paper.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It was just tissue
Nice.
paper.
Uh-huh.
Nice color.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And is it
Thank
sgraffito? That what Chris does is all the lines that you scratch in. I think
Yeah,
it makes it really, really interesting.
it was a lot of fun to do, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's huge and it's dark. Doesn't
Barry,
suit-
thank you for
doesn't
sending
suit my
something.
home. Wow.
This was an experiment that Dawn Tapper in the weekly, the Broken Yoke. She does a lot of those where she puts layers of paint and then sands them down.
Oh,
And I thought I'd try it out, but I didn't pay close attention to how she has explained it to me or to the group. And I put the panel on the right. I put all the layers across the whole canvas and then got out the sandpapers and started sanding and was going along nicely. And when I got to where the left-hand side is now, it started looking a little different, especially right in the middle of it. And I thought, oh, well, I've just got to sand a little bit further, then it'll come the same, except that I went right through the canvas.
Oh,
So,
Oh, wow.
so I had to patch the canvas from behind, and then I put tape down and put a black background. And then instead of, on that section, instead of putting layers, I put dabs of the different colors and sanded it and ended up like this. And what I learned afterwards is it's not layers of paint, it's basically layers of thin, almost glazes of paint that makes it really work. But I ended up quite liking this. It's not a great photograph, but it's I ended up quite happy with the way it turned out.
I tried to sharpen it because it was quite fuzzy when I got it. But now, who is the she you were mentioning? Who?
Dawn.
Oh, I see. Dawn influenced you to do it this style?
Yeah, she does a lot of these, her stuff, and she sells a lot of them. But I learned that most of what she does is she does on board, not on canvas.
Yeah, I was going to say, would it go better on board because you could sand really deeply?
Yeah, and the paint was so thick, but on mine, and of course, but it's still, it was kind of fun to do. I don't know if I'll do more like this, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I think
Gary, I
it's
really
interesting.
like it. I really
Yeah.
like it. Yes.
Mhm.
And it reminds me, don't take this as an insult, but if someone had a Rothko, turned it sideways, and then had morning sickness, it's just an explosion of all those different, I mean, my eye can't go off of the composition. There's so
Wow.
many different places where my
Yeah.
eye goes. It's really thrilling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's the joy of it. The right hand side, I was going quite along quite happily, and then when I found this little problem in that one area, I started thinking too much, and from there it went downhill from there, and I had to do this, and I actually painted it 90 degrees round anti-clockwise, but it
I
looked,
think they complement each other.
yeah, it does, yeah.
Well, you tie it in because over on the right, you have the darker lower right, you have that darker
Yes.
area,
Yeah.
and it pulls your eye around,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Barry, make some bigger ones of these for Jazzercise in December.
I can't afford to paint until I accept it.
Good work.
I like the effect. I really
Yeah.
do. And the one side looks like a tree almost to me. I'm seeing almost a garden or something.
There is a bit of that, yes.
Yeah, it's just,
I can see
I
a
think
couple
it's
of
really-
faces. I can see a couple of animals.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it's really interesting.
Your
Yeah.
paintings are always so interesting. I hope you'll do more.
Yeah.
I don't tend to do much of the same stuff.
Uh-huh.
Suzanne, would this be a digital art piece?
It's well, the little character, he's one of my ceramic pieces.
It's adorable.
Yeah, I did a whole series of those. I was working on a children's book and I was trying to figure out what the characters look like, and it was really easier to work
To make the character.
in 3D. And I taught a lot of children's classes, ceramic classes, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I wanted to put it in a background of some kind. So I went into Photoshop and started pulling stuff in because I figure he's probably living on another planet somewhere. So I love doing nebulas. I bring in nebulas from Hubble and to do a lot of my skies. And then I did the moon, and then there's a whole thing that you can do with Photoshop where you can make the stuff sort of flow around the colors and things like that and change them. But so now he has somewhere to live. And then in the bottom there's a grass where he's standing on the grass. So yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, when I saw it, it brought to mind that it would have made a great illustration for a child's book, children's.
Right.
book. Yeah, it's very,
Yeah, also the characters I did, my girlfriend did the illustrations for the book, and it's actually a coloring book. So they can color the pictures while they're reading it or afterwards or whatever. And now I'm animating parts of it. So it's an audio book. And that is really a challenge. Oh my God. It took me 3 years to do the first chapter, and there's like 4 chapters.
You are so skilled. I mean, I feel like I'm just a
It's hilarious.
mark maker, and you do all this stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah.
3D and
Well, thanks for sharing it, Susan.
Oh, you're welcome. I just love it.
Yeah.
speaking of humble painters, yeah.
Wow.
This was done some time ago.
Wow, that's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just abstracted a photo of, Palm Springs when you're driving like back towards the ocean. You see that beautiful skyline of mountains, and it was the right time of day. But I totally abstract. I think I did this in one sitting in Sally's class because we had to do an
Great
hour.
palette, Nancy.
Wow.
Thanks.
Yeah. This is acrylic. Mm.
Yeah, on paper. I should get back to that. Sometimes I get too concentrated in details, and this was fun to paint.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me the size of it, did you say?
I think it's probably like 16 by 20, something like that, or maybe 18 by 24. It's on paper though,
Mhm.
Mhm.
watercolor paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Beautiful
abstract.
Did you gesso it first or go straight to the paper?
No, I think I just went right to the paper.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, on acrylic. I wasn't that sophisticated back then, but
Well,
I like, I'm a
nice.
colorist, so I
Yeah.
really did like the way the color combination worked, and
Mm.
I'm glad I found it to submit it because it kind of reminds me that I should try that palette again.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, thanks,
Mhm.
Nancy.
Thank you. Oh, and
Oh, yeah.
thanks for
Great.
putting in.
Right.
This was done for, one of Mark's watercolor.
Watercolor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
Remember this. This is fabulous.
Yeah.
thank you. I started drawing figures when I was a little kid, actually, just to kind of please my dad. He liked my drawings, and I would just draw people out of the fashion magazines or the Sunday Tribune magazine. If I saw people I loved doing that, I wanted to be a portrait person, but I really don't have the skill for that. But this was kind of fun.
You don't? I think that's really
I
good.
think you do.
Wow.
Yeah, I think you do
Faces
too.
are
Yeah.
so hard.
Thank you. It's
That's
just,
really good.
Very nice. Nice work.
It's really intriguing. Intriguing you use this color for the shadow. It's very, very creative.
of course, I
Rather,
love that. That's my
rather
favorite
than-
combo.
rather than being a dark brown. I mean, that's quite like
Right. And with watercolor, once you put it down, you can't pick it up. So I thought, oh, I really screwed up here. But then I thought, well, maybe not. I kind of let it sit
it's
for
good.
a day, and I thought, yeah, it's okay. It complements the red brown on the
Mhm.
other side.
Mhm.
Really give you a temporary taste.
And moves your eye up to her eyes,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
which are
thank
really
you.
wonderfully painted and drawn. Yeah.
That is true. The blue from the dress kind of
Mhm.
pulls you up to the eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how
Yeah.
you did the hair, Nancy. There's so
Yes.
many colors in it. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thanks. I drew it first and then I painted on top of the drawing. So a lot of those hatch marks, are gone. They're
Mhm.
underneath the paint, but because it's watercolor, it's a little bit transparent. And
Now,
I put the hair on last. So,
I
it
like
kind
to do that a lot, leave the graphite under and work graphite and watercolor
Yeah.
together. I think it's really effective.
before they cut us off, let me show you what Richard sent, which was at 5 p.m.
Oh, that's
oh my.
And
That's
Well, one
Richard?
thing about Richard, he loves doing huge paintings. I don't know
And
if you
this
put
one.
the size of this.
Oh.
And
Wow.
he tries and he tries and he tries everything. He tries all the techniques. He tries all the paintings, the products, and he does some of these things that we look at like this, and then he does others that are just starting to do. Let's just say he's progressed dramatically since he joined the group.
good.
That's so electric feeling.
Is it acrylic or oil?
I think they're all acrylic.
Oh, okay.
That looks like the stuff that comes out of Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Native American, those colors, they're out in the desert.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that style.
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, really pretty.
And-
It's interesting. And he does like 2 or 3 of these a week.
Oh,
every
wow.
every
Wow.
time he comes in with 1 or 2 brand new ones, and they're either fabulous or need a lot of work.
Well, thank you for Barry. Thank you for doing the liaison thing. It's really good to hear what they're doing, and you're bringing us
Yes.
new information.